What is up, guys? It is Geo, and today I am back with another Geo Talks meta, and when you guys see this screen, you know I'm talking about the Aegislash Suspect. So, I know I'm a little bit late to the party on this one, but I wasn't exactly in a position to make a video when the ban was announced, so, late to the party on 3, 1, 2, 3, late to the party. So, anyways, the results for the Aegislash Suspect came out. I'm on this thread because I can't find the voting thread. I don't think they've put it up yet, but Aegislash, in order to be banned, needed a 60% supermajority to be banned, which, you know, that it basically just means more than a lot of people want Aegislash to be banned, more than the majority. And this one was actually probably the closest suspect test we've had since Deoxys S was suspected, along with Genesect and Genesect and one other thingamajigger in the first suspect test, where Deoxys came down to like 58% or something like that. Anyway, this one ended up in 62% of people wanting to ban I got myself all mixed up. 62% of people wanted Aegislash banned, so Aegislash did end up being banned, and it was by like 1 or 2 votes, and that really makes me wish that I had more time the latter. But, you know, you can't control everything. Aegislash is gone. It's beyond our reach. And, you know, you kind of live by the sword, you die by the sword. I saw someone say that in the thread, and I thought that was funny, so I'm stealing it and putting it here. Anyway, so now that we're out of the fact that Aegislash has been banned, let's take a look at some of the potential metagame impacts. The first of which being, the metagame is going to be really diverse for like a solid 2 weeks, because people are still going to be figuring out what to do and all that kind of great stuff, and people are going to be trying a lot of new stuff before we kind of get the metagame back in order, so to speak. Before we get the metagame back in order, and so it's going to take a while for people to change their sets and whatnot. And now, aside from the increase in mons, you're obviously going to see a little bit less of like Aegislash Bisharp cores and stuff like that, and hazards are going to be a bit easier to keep on the field because the most prominent ghost type in the tier is, or hazards are going to be a little bit harder to keep on the field because the most prominent ghost type is gone and you can spin them away a lot easier. So, looking at the top 5 notable mons getting a boost because of Aegislash going to the Uberville, the first one is, or we'll count down from 5 to 1. Getting an honorable mention is Mega Mawile because it doesn't really have to run knockoff anymore to mess with Aegislash. It can now just run its sub-punching set, which in my opinion is its best set, because like Mawile forces so many switches anyway that if you let Mawile set up a sub, something dies to sub punch essentially, unless you're immune to it, and then not a whole lot of things like play ref. So getting an honorable mention is Mega Mawile. Coming in at the 5th spot is Bisharp. Bisharp is here simply because it didn't really like having to deal with Aegislash's Sacred Sword and the fact that like both of them kind of held the same role as Wallbreaker. So Bisharp is going to be getting a little bit of a buff there. I can't talk right now. Oh my goodness. Number 4 is Starmie. Starmie was dropped down to UU pretty much because of knockoff, but also because of Aegislash. And so we may see the return of offensive spinners, or an increase in offensive spinners, because we already have Excadrill, but Starmie could potentially be a fast rapid spinner to fit on hyper offense teams, along with the likes of Latios and Latias, who can be fast defoggers and yada yada yada, all that great stuff. Number 3 is a Pokemon who I actually used in one of my 2nd or 3rd X and Y team that I ever built. It's Staraptor. Staraptor is super cool because Staraptor can run Scarfed or Banded, and it has Reckless and access to Brave Bird and Double Edge, both of which were resisted by Aegislash. So Staraptor will probably be getting a buff. The return of Bird Spam is here. That means everybody's got to run Zapdos real quick. I know that I'm going to be running Zapdos on Stall, but we'll cover the state of Stall in just a minute because that is also relevant to the video title. The second the second Pokemon that is getting the biggest buff from Aegislash leaving is Mega Heracross. Now, Mega Heracross is really cool for a lot of offense players because it completely eats Stall alive. There's this variant of Heracross of Mega Heracross, which is like SD Mega Heracross with Pin Missile, Close Combat, and Coverage Move, and that thing is just the scariest thing alive. Like, I need a new pair of pants every time I'm playing Stall and I see a Mega Heracross because there's so very few counters. Well, there's not really any defensive counters to Mega Heracross. I was reading the thread where people were trying to come up with counters for Mega Heracross, and they're like, we'd like to see defensive checks because we don't want to imply that there's no defensive checks to Mega Heracross, but really there's no defensive checks. But anyway, Mega Heracross gets a huge buff because its stabs are no longer either immune or resisted by one of the most popular Pokemon in the metagame. And the last Pokemon getting a major buff is going to be Mega Gardevoir, who's also pretty scary because it has Pixelate Stab boosted Hyper Voice, which just comes in and wrecks things. It hits like a truck, hits around subs. You can't avoid it that way, so you can't use things like Torment Tran to really get around it. And people have been running like HP Ground to get around Heatran, so number one check out the window. But the metagame will definitely have to shift around these new top tier threats, and I've heard another Suspect is coming, so maybe more Geotox meta later. But you may be sitting here thinking, why is any of this relevant? Why Geo, listen for a second. Why should I care about any of this metagame stuff that is happening? Won't the metagame just like boil down? Won't Stall eventually become the greatest thing alive again? Like when TFL pretty much ran things post Baton Pass, but like, what is going to happen? Why is this relevant? Why should I care? Well, I'm also going to talk about the state of Stall, and from you guys, a lot of you guys should probably be interested in this if you play competitively, and I know personally I am, because I've played Hyper Offense for as long as I've played Pokemon, like, competitively, of course. I've played Hyper Offense for as long as I've played Pokemon competitively. I've loved to use stuff like Thundurus and Landorus. I've loved to use Mega Mawile, Charizard X, Charizard Y. You name it, I've thrown it on Hyper Offense team, except Sharpedo. That's... no. But Stall is probably hurt the most by the Aegislash Suspect, and Aegislash being banned. Not in the sense that, oh, Aegislash was a pivotal part of Stall, why is it gone now? Uh-oh, we don't have our main thing for Stall. It's more in the sense that Aegislash provided this power cap, and I know somebody in the comments may be talking about like, oh, well, like broken checks broken, Geo, so this isn't a good argument for keeping Aegislash. I'm not necessarily saying it's a good argument for keeping Aegislash. I'm just saying like this is one thing that happened. It is true. Undeniably, Aegislash was this great power cap in the metagame that prevented stuff like Mega Gardevoir, like Mega Heracross, like Staraptor, like Bisharp and Starmie from being as relevant and as powerful as they should be. And all of these things are very, very lethal to Stall. Because as I was saying earlier, Mega Heracross is so good, especially like SD Mega Heracross. You need an offensive check to be able to beat that. And so this makes Stall pretty much the least viable playstyle right now, which is kind of disappointing for me, because I've been trying to get into Stall and whatnot, because Stall, I think, suits me a little bit more. I'm a little bit more methodical, laid back, rather than like, alright, let's like destroy everything super fast. Like, I'm good to kind of wait it out. And so like I've always been fine with playing Stall and whatnot, and it's definitely going to be a tough adjustment for every Stall player out there. I know personally that I've just taken a break altogether from playing OU, simply because I want to see how the metagame shifts and how the metagame settles, because really, Stall is going to have a bad couple of weeks. Every Stall player out there is not going to enjoy the next couple of weeks, and I've just decided, look, I'm not going to trouble myself with trying to team build during these next 3 weeks, because as I said, the metagame is going to go through like a readjustment period where everything is settling and whatnot. So it's going to take a while for the threats to be redefined, for lack of a better word, but so Stall will definitely have to make a lot of adjustments. We may see some sort of or we may see some sort of suspect test coming out later, so that'll be interesting to watch. But you know, it's going to be a tough adjustment for Stall. It really is. I've personally moved to UU. I made a Bronzong Stall team, and Bronzong's super cool Joe McCool. I don't know. I forgot to find a rhyme for cool. Anyways, that is going to be this episode of Geo Talks Meta. A little over 10 minutes long. That's pretty cool. So if you guys did enjoy, please make sure to leave a like, because it really does help show support for the stuff that I'm doing here on the channel. Additionally, make sure to answer today's comment question of the day, which is, what did you guys think about the Aegislash Suspect? Do you guys think it deserved to be banned? Do you guys not think it deserved to be banned? I mean, I didn't cover this in the video as much as I would have liked to, but I suppose I'll cover it right now. Frankly, at the beginning of the Suspect, I was like, Smogon, you've lost it, what are you doing? Near the end of the Suspect, I was like, okay, I see a lot of your guys' points here, how this is really bad for the metagame. Do I think it should have been banned? No, probably not. It was amazing, but it wasn't, like, game-breaking, in my opinion. But, you know, that's just my opinion. Who cares about that? And, with that, I urge you guys to subscribe if you guys are enjoying the constant content. And with that, I'll catch you on the flip-flop.